Hey Shan, which one's our archives trailer? Is it the big one or the small one? Hey Steph, you there? Here we go.
I'll be right back.
It looks like he's setting up for a rock concert, but Ry Moran works for the Truth and Reconciliation Commission into Indian residential schools.
And these are the same height, hey? These guys here?
Yes.
So, okay.
This is a massive operation to document a nation's truth. It's a story about little children, tens of thousands of children taken from their families. And a commission, the only one of its kind in a first world country, asked to investigate what happened and imagine a way for Canada to move forward. Opening day, the air smells of cedar, sweetgrass, sage.
Take care. Have a great day. Thank you. You too.
David Wong arrives, a prominent Chinese-Canadian architect invited to witness. He joins 2,000 former students, survivors. Commissioner Marie Wilson walks beside her husband, himself a survivor. She has mixed emotions.
To know that in front of me and in the long trail behind me are so many people who are quite broken. The tragedy of them having had to live their entire lifetime carrying that extra burden of shame and humiliation and a feeling that no one cared about what happened to them as little children. And on the other hand, feeling tremendous excitement about all that's going to unfold here before us.
Behind the scenes, choreography is less slick.
We're going to get everybody prepped for the grand entry. They're waiting for us inside. I need the 3 host nation chiefs.
But once on stage, speakers mark this historic occasion with words eloquent.
For the survivors in this room, the most important gesture of reconciliation that they will ever see in their lives is for you to tell them that you love them.
It is my deep wish that every Canadian who hears those stories carries that change with them.
And not without critics.
I happen to be a survivor, so I know what it's all about. But I got so much anger inside of this person.
Interruptions are few. This group accuses lawyers of exploiting former students. To mute any survivor here would be an insult. Still, the show must go on.
The Assembly of First Nations is a society. They don't have the right to represent us legally.
The Commission is keenly aware spectators are power, carrying the story beyond Aboriginal communities, hence the honorary witnesses.
I am sad that the message isn't carried throughout all of our nation. I would like to see people from my ancestry, the Chinese, to actually see this for themselves and learn and find out that this hurt and everything, that so they can understand it.
But it's the 3 commissioners who are entrusted by so many survivors to hear their truths.
And there was an elderly woman there, and here's what she said. September, everybody cry month. Back of truck, all kids gone. Everybody cry. We are the ancestors of tomorrow. We are the ones here today. It is our work to do together.
So the work of redefining Septembers begins.
And I heard the young people sniffing, crying. I thought they were homesick. I soon found out it wasn't so.
And I was crying. My sister got disgusted with me and let me crawl into bed with her. I was woken up the next morning, being pulled by my hair, being called dirty and filthy.
I remember starting to feel really scared and really holding on to my mom's hand. I let go my mom's hand, or my mom let go my hand, I'm not sure.
I need you to take this.
Ry Moran's official title is Director of Statement Gathering.
We want to try and get going in about 2 minutes.
In reality, that means pretty much everything. This is the private statement gathering room.
The whole idea about this particular room is to just create
bit of a sanctuary.
The Commission has collected over 6,000 statements across Canada. Survivors get copies to share with family.
Some people have never, ever told anybody what happened to them in a residential school. So we are a vessel for them to share their experience. We're a facilitator of them opening up and starting to unpack some of the harms that have been done to them.
One of the most important things that we can do is create a historical record so that nobody in the future will ever be able to say that this didn't happen. Sikwetmuk.
Yeah.
It's so hard for me to say.
Testimonies are simultaneously translated into Indigenous languages.
There was a direct and concerted effort to destroy these languages. There are a number of critically endangered languages now across the country, and we try to do everything that we can in order to preserve these languages in our own way.
This is one of the more popular spots. Here, survivors hunt for evidence of their past.
When they were in school, they were kids, other people were taking pictures of them and stuff like that. They go back home and their parents weren't there, their friends weren't there to take pictures of them, sort of thing. So a lot of these old class photos and pictures of the building help people who attended the schools reconnect with their own pasts.
But memories can overwhelm.
Okay, when did this happen?
The team has a so-called critical incident. A woman so distraught she can't be calmed. The support team is on the scene.
I don't think it matters who you are. You know, staff like myself, health supports, commissioners even. I mean, sometimes, you know, you hear something and it just shakes you to your core.
Health Canada has mobilized over 400 workers, from counselors to traditional healers. Some in quiet tents, many patrolling, consoling, sometimes intervening to wipe away pain with ancient medicines. David Wong turns to one of those supports after hearing a gut-wrenching story.
He talked about his best friend himself being forced to fight for the amusement of others, having been forced to take a life, throwing that little dog into the water by a man of the cloth. Just can't fathom up from how people can do that, and especially as young children.
He's brought to healers who tell him it's okay to cry.
My gut feeling.
For 3 years now, Marie Wilson has listened. It isn't easy.
If it wasn't hard, it would mean I'm tuning out and, you know, kind of going through the motions of listening and not really listening. I try to listen very deeply.
To fight sympathy fatigue, she debriefs with a spiritual advisor, an old friend and United Church minister, and trusted psychologists.
A couple of times a day, I have to honestly tell you, I could feel my chest getting really tight. Yeah, I was mindful of my body today, and a couple of times in some of the statements, there were things I've never heard before.
Yeah.
And you think, surely I've heard it all by now, but no. There were things I had never heard before, and some of them were really rattling.
I hated my mom for a long time for bringing me there.
They brought us down to a dark place. We had to kneel there from 7 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, not being allowed to eat, drink water, or go to the washroom.
And I screamed in agony, trying to get rid of that horrible man.
Every time I remember that man that took my pants down when I was only 11 years old, go out and get drunk.
Shannon, where are you? Where do you want these school groups?
Education is one of the Commission's key roles. Over 7,000 school students have come here.
They're the future leaders, they're the ones who are going to implement this change, they're the ones who are really going to achieve reconciliation. At the very least, they're going to know about residential schools. They're going to understand that some people got a real raw deal in those countries.
Minister. The Federal Minister of Aboriginal Affairs highlights education.
To learn the truth about what happened at residential schools and to share that truth with all Canadians.
No mention of Ottawa dragging its feet and turning over millions of government archives to the Commission, a battle still not resolved. No mention of ongoing negotiations over the Commission's 5-year timeline and $60 million budget.
You said you need more money and more time. What are they saying?
Well, it isn't just up to the federal government. That has to be clear. I mean, this is a court-ordered and court-supervised Truth and Reconciliation Commission. I know that we have not yet had the benefit of the Prime Minister himself attend any of our national events, and we are certainly hopeful that that will be able to happen.
Later, in private, the minister recalls his school days in Quebec, where he learned about good Indians, the Huron, and bad Indians, the Iroquois. Lessons deeply entrenched.
I'm saying I have a bias. Honestly, I have a bias against the Mohawk.
Because of what you were taught.
He's since talked it over with Mohawk chiefs, he says.
You are left with what you were taught at school.
Yeah.
Hence the importance of getting this real story out. But, you know, it's not in the school curriculum.
I thought it was very brave of him, actually, to acknowledge that and to say, this is my own personal example of how off track we were and how important that a proper education is.
Talk turns to business at hand, but no resolution will be found other than to keep talking.
She drank every day the day she left us at residential school because she just fell apart. But her courage to then sober up and start living a different life helped us all.
My healing path meant going home and doing ceremonies. It meant going home and healing relationships that have been fragmented. It meant learning how to be a sister.
Honorary witness reflections.
When David Wong takes the stage, his mood shifts.
I saw many young people from the various Asian communities. And boy, I was really happy to see that. Their parents may be working, that's why they weren't there. But their children were there. And they would tell their friends, and their friends would tell their friends. My work to educate is just beginning. Thank you, it's been a very, very big honor. Thank you.
Amidst all the tears, this box represents hope. In it, people put expressions of reconciliation.
If we're just having a good heartfelt talk and we're all lovey-dovey and now we're pals, nothing will change. It has to be about action, and that means some things have to change. It means things can't be exactly as they have been.
Then a party to mark the many birthdays never celebrated in the schools. Finally, goodbye. There's still one more national event, a report to write, and those government and church records, many still unseen, need an archival home. But the oft-asked question, will this repair the damage done?
We've just planted a whole new crop of seeds here, and now that tough day at the end is when you sort of walk away from the garden. And, you know, you hope it rains, and you hope there's sunshine, and you hope that the climate supports the growth of all these seeds that we planted across the country. And now it's just a matter of how will it grow. Grab the bottom again? Yep. You ready? 1, 2, 3, watch the nose.
4 days in Vancouver make one thing clear. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission isn't the end of the road. It's the beginning. Duncan McCue, CBC News, Vancouver.